That movie sucked.
I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.
Hello and welcome to Content and Capable, where I try to figure out what it really means to adult. Today I spoke to Isabel, Tristan, Rachel and Lachlan all about filmmaking and the film project that they're working on called True N.O.R.T.H. Well, welcome to Content and Capable. It's really awesome to have you here on the podcast. First of all, I've been interviewing a lot of Americans. So, like, all these Americans know each other, but they probably don't know who you guys are. So, if you guys could, like, quickly introduce yourselves, that would be awesome.
Do we have to do it in an American accent?
Please.
That was horrible. I am so sorry.
Oh, that's bruh.
I love it already.
Hey, Tristan, you go first.
Oh, hello. My name is Tristan. I am a third-year film student at QUT, and I like cameras. Thank you.
That is true. Tristan is the cameraman. Hi, I'm Izzy. I'm another third-year film student at QUT. And I'm the producer of True N.O.R.T.H. this semester.
Hi, I'm Rachel. Surprisingly enough, I'm also a third-year film student at QUT. I am the writer and also social media manager of True N.O.R.T.H. And I'm also a sound designer in the filmmaking space.
Ooh, my name is Lachlan Baldwin, and wouldn't you believe it, I'm also a third year at QUT. How about that?
Wow!
I'm a director, writer. On this thing, I'm composing the music, which is fun, but I just float around, so how are we doing?
Awesome. Cool. Let's get started with a quick warm-up question. What was some adulting that you were recently doing in the last week?
Well, me and my girlfriend were out in the bush, you see, and I was taking down her shirt and, oh, not that kind of adulting, sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, it's the first 5 minutes.
The podcast network I'm a part of is all about the swear words and the a little bit raunchy, so I am more than fine with it.
Don't encourage him. Do not encourage him. No, I'm kidding.
Adulting. I did a push-up the other day, so that was pretty cool.
One push-up?
Yeah.
Epic.
An entire push-up.
I
all
did
the way down,
census.
all the way up.
Did the census the other day. Did you guys do the census?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
the census.
That was pretty
I love
adult.
that. I love having to do, like, only half of it because I'm not employed. It's amazing.
Yeah, same.
Cut the time in half.
Oh, I'm jealous of that. I'm employed. I had to, like, put all my... But then I could only do my details, so I then had to, like, save the account and share the password with my roommate so that he could do it as well. And we were in lockdown the other week, so it was, like, great to keep the lockdown crazies at bay as well.
Yeah.
No, because we were lucky because I live in a building and they organised for a heap of bloody paper copies to get sent out. So me and my 3 roommates were just sitting at the kitchen table, just like, how do we answer this question? We don't know.
I had to ask my parents about my ancestry, which is always an awkward conversation.
Oh, no.
I just guessed mine.
But yeah, it's that was really good. The recent adulting I've done was yesterday, as of recording, I got the keys to the new house I'm moving into. I'm so excited.
That's great.
It's my parents' investment property, and so I'm renting it off them. Me and my brother are moving in 2 weeks after all the renovations. And this morning I had to go and let all the contractors in. They were redoing the whole bathroom. And my dad and I went through the house and looked at the things that we have to do tomorrow. So I'm so excited. It's a really nice place. It's closer to my parents' place, which is really nice, so I can visit them more often. But also just a really nice area as well. I was just walking around this morning and I was like, oh, I like this. You know, there's a coffee shop down the street and, you know, the bus stop is literally outside my door. So,
Hell yeah, gotta love that.
Yeah, success.
It is terrifying because there is two schools on the other side of the intersection, which is
Oh, God.
terrible. So the traffic in the morning is terrible, but I'm sure I can live with that. Anyway, we are going to move on from the adulting because that is a little scary. So you all mentioned you're all filmmakers, and in fact, you're all part of a really great production called True North, which I will share in the description box. Not that this is on YouTube, but it'll be in the description box in the podcast, so definitely go check that out, listeners. But
Yay.
Can you explain to our poor dumb listeners? No, they're not dumb. They're really smart. They just don't know. Can we explain, like, what is True North? Like, why, like, what is True North, and why are we doing this kind of production? Or why are you guys doing it, not me?
So True North is a short film, a short kind of drama comedy about modern day pirates. But in this universe that we've created, pirates are actually really heavily discriminated against and are sent to conversion facilities, which is really awful. And it's a very deep issue that we're covering in this film, but something that we think is very important. But it basically follows a pirate named James, who is sent to one of these facilities by his father and meets a whole amazing ensemble of other pirates who are under the guide, not in a good way, of Andrea, who runs the facility. And basically they go through, they bond, and yeah, it's just a story about community and self-acceptance. And there's a million different adjectives you could use for it, isn't there?
Yeah, so it's all about just really learning to love yourself and accept yourself for who you are. And if you're around people who don't really accept you for who you are, then going out and finding your own crew and finding the people who will. So it's just a real good, feel-good sort of film.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so why are you guys doing this? Like, to me, it's really obvious because I know the majority of you. But why make this film now?
Well, we want to graduate, firstly.
Yeah. So part of the university degree.
We need credit points.
No, but in this day and age, like, there are so many different ways to express yourself, like online. And we have seen, like, more political movements recently because of that, I think. And I think it's just really important for people to know, to be comfortable with expressing themselves and knowing how to do that.
Yeah, and there's so many diverse communities out there today, so many clubs and sports and music things that your people are definitely out there. We just want to show that it's way more diverse than people think it is.
And the benefits of finding that community can really can improve your life in so many different ways. Finding that community that accepts you and that you can be yourself in is so important to, you know, mental health, just improving your life in so many different ways that we think it's great to show these pirates being who they are and triumphing over people who tell them that's not who they should be.
And so, like, you guys are filming this, and I'm always fascinated because I did film and television in high school, but I didn't go beyond that because it was just way too stressful.
Do you want to join our crew?
But, like, what's the process? Like, obviously, you've gotten the idea, you've pitched the idea, it's been approved by someone, and you're, you know, starting to production, but what does that production process look like?
So there's like
starts by writing a script.
Yes, there's 3 distinct stages of production. There's pre-production, production, and then post-production. So in pre-production, first, of course, is writing the script, which is all my job. Always on me. You've got to write the script, you develop characters, you develop what you would call a beat sheet, which is basically, you know how in a film, just like a film is basically just a sequence of events. That's kind of the first thing that you have to nail down is the characters that you have, the things that they go through and how those things change them. So that was our first protocol. And then once we had that finalized, I had to go away and write the actual screenplay with the correct formatting and the dialogue and all of that to make it into a nice, cohesive stack of paper. Um, and then it kind of, once that is done, and that goes through a lot of development, I've been like, through the whole process, I've been discussing with Tristan and Isabel what the best options were, and how there's also the big element that my script also has to be achievable because I can't give something absolutely ridiculous and give it to Izzy saying, hey, do this. And Izzy's like, no. No.
That is kind of mostly my job, saying no. It can be annoying, but, you know, I'm sorry, guys. Achievability is important.
Yeah, so what are the kind of things that you have to say no to then, Isabel?
We aren't allowed to have live parrots on set.
Yes. Okay. So this is a funny story, and there's gonna be something about this on the Instagram in a few weeks. I'm making a meme about it. Basically, in the original script, we had a scene where some of the characters were outside and doing like gardening activities, and there was gonna be a live trained parrot there that our main character was going to interact with. It was only going to be like a 30-second like montage kind of sequence, but we were going to have this parrot that he was going to try to call and get on his shoulder, but then Andrea was going to like spray it with a hose and it was going to fly away. Didn't we actually find someone who had a trained parrot?
So I was doom scrolling through Facebook, and apparently there is a trained parrot owner in Brisbane that was offering their services, and I was going to reach out, but for 30 seconds that was a little bit too much work, and also getting all the permissions and things like that
it was just
going to be difficult.
Starring Fred as the parrot wrangler.
So it's been cut out now, so unfortunately you're not going to see that, but you know what could have been, as they say.
Other things I have to say no to as the fun police are stunts, because we don't have the ability to train people how to do stunts or hire a stunt coordinator. So unfortunately, that's another thing I've had to say no to, even though it would be fun.
We were going to do a sword fight.
Yeah, we can't even have like just normal butter knives or anything on set without an armorer. Like we need like a qualified armorer on set, so we've had
even for plastic like knives and forks.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Wow.
But anyway, we work around it.
That's like kind of terrible.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I suppose, like, obviously health and safety, and like, obviously, you know, you're working on
It's plastic utensils. I mean,
yeah,
sure.
Well, come on.
I don't know. I feel like plastic utensils harm me more than metal utensils.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you hurt yourself in plastic.
Let's just clarify. They are going to be sword fighting with them.
Yes, there is a scene where two of the characters have a sword fight with sporks. That is confirmed. I don't know if we should say that, but that's okay. That's okay. It's important.
Sporks sound like an interesting weapon. I don't know. I was just on the MEAA, which is the Australian Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance, doing some research for one of my journalism assessments. And I was scrolling through the website looking for something, and I just stumbled onto their newsfeed, and apparently Australia had its first 2 female stunt coordinators. I'm like, that sounds like it's something that happened years ago that like has only recently just come into the spotlight. I was like, yeah.
I hear that stunt coordinators are really hard to come by these days. Weren't you talking about this the other day, Lachlan? About stunt coordinators or stunt people? Oh, it was in the audition, wasn't it?
Sorry, my internet's cutting in and out. What was that? Say again.
Weren't we talking the other day in the auditions about stunt coordinators and how there's like a lack of them?
Yeah, we might have been saying that.
You were saying something about how people use skateboarders instead because like they don't.
Yeah, that's how I kind of got away with it, because I wanted some stunts in a commercial that I was doing, and I was like, well, how can we do stunts? Because we can't have actual stunt people, can't have them do real stunts. So we kind of got away with it by using skateboarders. And all we did was we showed up to the skate park and just asked anyone who was interested in being part of the commercial just to do their best tricks. just as they would be doing in that park if we were there or not. And it was just so fortuitous because it was all these like little kids. They were like 15, 16, and they were just doing the most insane tricks I'd ever seen. And it just made for a really good commercial. We were very proud of that.
Wow.
So you're saying if we find like people sword fighting in a facility and we
just
just
film
happen
it.
to stumble across them, we can film that.
Yeah, a couple of homeless guys fighting over a bit of bread.
Let's do it.
No. We can always ask the Kotaro Order of the Dagger people we met last semester for our documentary. I'm sure they'd be happy.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Oh yeah, Kotaro gang.
All right, sword fights all wrapped.
Yeah, sword fights. Let's do it. I challenge everyone to a duel right now. Not that I am physically fit at all to be able to do any of that kind of thing. I was carrying tiles this morning upstairs, and my dad and the plumber and one of the guys who was doing the bathroom were carrying tiles with me, and I was like behind. I was struggling the whole time. I'm like, this is like kind of exhausting.
Congratulations, you're an adult now.
I know. I like had to. The weirdest thing happened to me yesterday. I texted Dad when I got the keys. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've gotten the keys. You know, Dad had a list of things that I needed to do last night when I got the keys. And so I was like doing that, fix it. I'm like, and I hadn't been inside the house. So we'd bought this house without me ever going inside the property. And I said, I had a look inside, and then my dad texts back and goes, yeah, thanks, Sam. Welcome to being responsible for a house. I'm like,
Oh no, jeez.
please.
Oh no.
Drop the bomb, why don't you, Dad?
Yeah. It's like, I don't own the house, but I do, like, I'm basically property managing it because, my parents, I'm the eldest of 10 children. Like, my parents have got
Jesus
enough to
Christ.
Oh my god.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Sam's fun fact of the day.
Yeah. My fun fact of the last 10 years.
I was gonna say I put it in that. Oh, do you remember anyone who's listening who doesn't know? For the four of us who are here, not Lachlan, so Sam, me, Izzy, and Tristan all are in QUT's Music Society. And I had to do an Instagram post for ours about the executive team, which me and Sam are. And I think pretty much anything that I've put on there with a fun fact, or anything that Sam has put with a fun fact, has been him saying that he's like the oldest of 10 kids every night.
I'm running out of fun facts. I was running icebreakers for like a pre-orientation event for this semester, and we had to put fun facts in that no one knew. And I'm like, all these people know me way too well. Like that, someone will know I have like 10 siblings, and someone will know this, and someone will know that. So I had to pull the podcast card, and I go, I host a podcast. And I'm like, I really don't like that. It makes me sound like one of those douchey people who host a podcast and like released 5 episodes and then just never did it again because it was a lockdown thing.
The one I always pull out for like, 2 truths and a lie. I'm always either just a little shit and say that I've been to 5 countries instead of 7 or something, or I pull I've had pneumonia 6 times and see how people react to it. And there's absolutely no in between.
Oh, you just kind of suck then.
Yeah, pretty much.
I always hated those people.
It's a tricky one, that one. Like in university, I don't know. QT has an obsession with icebreakers, and they work. Like I've seen them work before, but you run out of ideas very quickly.
Despise icebreakers.
Dragging it all the way back to film. Oh wow, we were on Fun Police duty. Like, what are some of the cool things you get to do on like a film set?
Ooh.
I know this isn't really on a set, but this was we had a unit last year called Multicam, which is mostly studio work. So it's similar to what you do. I think you and I have talked about it, Sam, about that the QT's big studio. That was the first time I've ever done something to do with sound, and they have a specific sound booth only for the sound person with a big mixer, big speakers in the TV, and I honestly think that's the coolest shit I have ever done. I just get to sit in my little room by myself. I get to listen to everyone. I get to mic everyone up and just play with all the buttons, and it's so much fun. I love it.
She was elite.
See,
that unit is everyone's favorite. It was so much fun.
Everyone loves it.
It's interesting because that was our favorite unit when we got to work in the studio, because we would I'd come in on I think it was a Wednesday at that point. Was it Wednesday or was it Tuesday? I don't know. I'd come in and we would sit down and we would we'd have a briefing at 9 o'clock, and then by 10 o'clock we're getting ready to go down to the studio, and then we're in the studio and we got to man the cameras, and then towards the end of it. Also, Rachel, that sound room is the worst room in the whole studio setup.
Excuse me. How dare you? That is my home.
It is a cupboard, though.
It is. It's literally just a cupboard. I don't if you go into the next room over, which is the full teleprompter editing recording suite.
Yeah, I was gonna go into that one originally because I wanted to kind of do the vision mixing, but okay, just so everyone's clear, I do the two least visual parts of film. I'm a writer and a sound designer, so I thought I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go into my booth. But it's also nice because our group for that, we only had 16 people in that one, so we were all spread across. So I was the only sound person, so I was just there by myself, which I thought was nice personally.
Oh, some alone time away from people is always good. Especially
for that unit. Sorry.
Yeah, no, especially in that studio setting where everyone is all on top of each other.
Yeah, and you got to press the button to talk to the person in the next room.
Yeah.
For that unit, I think I had double the amount of people in my crew for that, and it got a little hectic.
Yeah. So how do you delegate a crew of that size?
You yell at them and make them do what you want. No,
yes,
I'm kidding.
That's a very good point.
You ask them politely and just hope they know what they're doing.
I was going to say, everyone has their designated role, so as long as they're doing this one specific role right, though there are probably instances where people have to be pulling double shift.
How you delegate to a crew is everyone has their own ideas, and they bring them to probably either the first AD or the director or the producer, and you often have to say, yeah, we'll try that.
Yeah.
Or just have, say, yeah, that'd be great. Can we do this after we do the planned shot and things like that? Collaboration's really important in film, and respecting your crew and is a really great way to, get to know them, make sure the film goes smoothly.
Yeah. And I suppose, I don't know whether you guys did a film or a media unit in high school, but when I did those and we had productions that we did, I was the one who was doing it all. I had to be behind the camera and directing people and making sure the sound was being mixed, and I could have people helping me, but I had to be in complete control of it all because it was all mine. I had complete ownership of it. And it just was frustrating because I had to do all of this. So I was never in the right place at the right time.
That's not the best way to do things. I did a very similar thing last semester when I was directing my documentary. I was like, I have to be part of everything. I have to make sure it goes my way. I've been given this one shot. I'm going to take this shot. And I just burnt out at the end of it. And I should have learned, and this is what I have learned, is to trust my crew and trust their creative judgment as well. It's not all about me.
A similar thing happened to me in first year, although this was more because of logistics. It was the first narrative production that we had to do. I was the writer-director of a little short film. And 2 hours before call time, me and my soundie were on the train heading to the Gold Coast, and our lead, the only actor in our short, had pulled out. So I had to go in, and I had to, because I knew the script better than anyone, we didn't have time to find someone else, I had to act in it. So I looked like one of those pretentious douches who was the writer, director, and starring. And I don't know how people do it. I cannot direct if I'm in it. I need to be able to see what the camera's looking at. It's absolutely ridiculous. And kind of like when I joined film, I wanted to just be a writer director and have so much control over everything. But now I've just flattened to, this is my job. I will do this job and only this job. That is it.
And it's great being able to focus on your individual roles when you're in a crew, because instead of having to worry about, making sure you got all the right shots and the sounds, everything's okay. Like you can just focus on, okay, how can I make like this shot the best shot that it can be? How can I get the best performance out of this actor? And it's a lot more freeing creatively.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a very valuable thing to like compartmentalize things. Izzy, you were going to say something?
And knowing your limits as well. It's something that films really taught me. Knowing when to stop, when to delegate to other people, and also knowing and being confident in what you're good at is something that it's really taught me as well.
Yeah, I struggle with it myself because as a journalist, often you've got like 7 balls in the air. You know, I'm writing a story right now for radio, but then I have 3 assessment stories that I have to do and pitch. Like there's a pitch due at the end of next week that I've got to write and sort out and send in. And like I've got all these things and I've got to keep those balls in the air and keep like working on them and keep pushing them forward, as well as everything else I have to do on a day-to-day week, you know, going to classes, making sure that, you know, a podcast is running smoothly, managing social media, because as much as I would love social media to be me time, it's often just a job. And so like I'll sit down at like 10 o'clock at night and smash out and schedule a whole bunch of tweets and then go through making sure I'm liking a whole bunch of things and retweeting or sharing things on stories and that, so that like that just those cogs keep moving as no matter how slow they might be. Which is, you know, sometimes it's like, I really wish I could just spend 3 days, you know, straight on a project. But if I do that, the other project will fall behind and I've got to, you know, do that as well.
And I think that's a thing that a lot of, especially people our age kind of don't realize. Like we look up to all, this is something my mom was actually talking about recently. We look up to all of these creatives that they're like, oh, they do so well at their job. But we also need to kind of take a step back and realize that is their one thing that they're doing and they are getting paid for it. We are doing this along with, like, most of us are on at least 1 or 2 other projects. Like I'm on 2 other projects, same as Tristan, and like these other 2 are at least on 1 or 2 other projects. Plus we have another theory assignment that we're doing for the next 6 weeks. I'm starting an internship on Tuesday, which is going to take up a lot of my time. And I know lots of other people are doing that. So we like have so much on our plate and so much to kind of spread ourselves around. And then it's really likely that our self-esteem will flatten and go down a little bit, thinking, oh, we're not achieving as much as these people or anyone else. But we've got to kind of take a step back and realize how much we are actually doing, even if it doesn't seem like a lot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And it really is like a balancing act as well. Like for me personally, this semester, I took a while considering how many roles I could take on, while also trying to make sure I'm not overwhelming myself. So I am going to be director for True North. I'm going to be DOP for another short film called Lost Signal. And I've also agreed to do composing for another film and then a couple other projects outside of uni. And it's really just like, you got to make sure that you say no to some projects, while also just making sure that you can commit to the things that you are on. And it really is a balancing act because you want to do so much and like get all these experiences, but it's tricky.
Yeah, I think the best way to explain it, I don't know whether you've heard of the analogy of the spoons. You know, you have a certain amount of spoons you can use, and, you know, can I give, you know, how many spoons do I have left today to work on it? And it's a game of averages as well, you know. Obviously, like a 6-day production where, you know, you're working up to 14 hours a day. Hopefully not. I really hope for all of your mental health you're not working 14-hour days.
Jeez Louise.
But like when you're working that, you're like, well, I can't actually do anything else because I need to, you know, work on this. This is the point. And so like, you know, everything else might start to fall to the wayside. And so then you've got to like flip it. And once your commitment's over, transfer those spoons to something else and like keep rotating them around so that you can, you know, keep on top of everything, which is very stressful.
Exactly. Like even recently, so at QUT, we have a very specific shooting schedule that we've had to follow and organize around. But due to COVID, the faculty collectively decided that we're going to push all of the productions back. So now we're basically all 6 of our productions are happening in like a 3-4 week period now instead of like the 7-week period that was originally planned. And so what that means is that all of the editing weeks have been squished together. So I'm sound editing 2 projects, Lost Signal and one called Gods and Co. But they're happening in the exact same 2-week period, which also goes over the day of my brother's wedding in Victoria. So I'm going to have to go and find, and I made sure to go tell the producers and all of that saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. And we're already strapped for sound people, so I don't want to leave you in the dust, but I'm going to have to get an assistant or at least 1 or 2 assistants. And I think it's really important because a lot of people do want to do stuff themselves, but I think there is a really, like delegating, like you were talking about before, important to kind of find someone who can help you out with all of that, if you know what I mean. Like camera always has their assistants, and you've got the sound recorder stand, the boom op and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a collaboration game film.
Yeah.
You also definitely got to realize that you can only give so much to any sort of project. Like it's not all about scheduling as like giving as much time as you can to as many projects as you can, but also just making sure that you're looking after yourself and your own mental health. Because if that goes to crap, then you can't really put much of yourself into other projects and you can't get excited about those projects and just enjoy them.
And then you do a kind of shitty job. Like, if I'm depressed,
exactly.
I'll do a terrible job. So
Exactly.
But on the flip side, working on so many projects in different capacities with a whole bunch of different people is what I think is the fun of it, of course. You know, working with such a wide variety of people with a wide variety of different perspectives, it's just fun, you know, and each project brings its own challenges. And once you get that balance, you can really focus on how much fun you can have with the people around you and just enjoy doing something you love.
Yeah, 100%. There's definitely times where, you know, the current job I'm in at the moment, I'm not enjoying very much at the moment because there's lots of responsibility placed on me, but like I don't get to see much of other people because I'm working by myself. I'm tutoring kids and it's great to work with those kids, but my peers, so the other tutors aren't around at the moment because I'm working in a new place. And so I'm often working by myself and it's really hard to like be there and not have that, you know, that fun interaction of ideas and people. And it really makes it quite hard to continue doing that job. Like, yes, you know, I'm still in that job and I really enjoy the work I do. But at the same time, you know, at the moment, it's not very fun.
Exactly.
And like, I don't know whether you guys had this experience, but I was terrible at working with people as a kid. I got in trouble so many times for just like taking over and not letting other people like input ideas. So oftentimes like I have to like check myself and go, you know, is everyone else being given a voice? But then at the same time I'm going, I actually really just want to take control and just do it and get it done.
Yeah.
I was really lucky in primary school because I did distance education, so we didn't actually have collaborative classwork. So that just expanded it even more, that I like just was able to just do stuff myself. But I'm sure there was actually a point because we did lessons, but we did them pretty much like this over Zoom, but it was just over the phone back then because this was like 10 years ago or something. But there was a point where I would say my name, like that's the equivalent of raising your hand to saying your name. But I wouldn't get called on because all the teachers knew I knew the answer. And I would always just want to take control of everything. And it's like, oh, but no, I've gotten a lot better at letting people do their own thing now, which I'm very glad about, and I'm sure everyone else is really glad about as well.
I'm kind of almost on the flip side because I was always like a very quiet, introverted kid. Like my teachers would I can't speak. My teachers would reward me in class for not speaking, and they give me like prizes and stuff, even though I was just like, I don't like talking to people.
It's really kind of awful how like that's kind of become a mode of you're being good because you're being quiet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like as someone who was rewarded for being like people called me a teacher's pet in school and shit, not because yeah, anyway. People called me a teacher's pet in school and everything. And like looking back on it, it's kind of like it kind of is awful in a way. Like it's good because you want like people to be able to understand rules and stuff, but there's I don't even know how to describe it. There's something really weird about it.
Listening to other people is obviously an incredibly important skill and all. But also for me, I definitely had to learn to speak up and say my own mind about things. And it's kind of culminated for me in becoming director for this film, really. Like I'm finally speaking my mind, I guess.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Tristan.
really happy to be a part of this project and with all of you guys.
Aw.
Hell yeah.
Except for Lachlan.
Oh no.
I was about to say,
Kidding, I love you.
there's a full character arc there, and then the plot twist.
That's a script right there. Damn.
We're filmmakers. Everything we do is in three acts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's like the whole speaking up and then like being quiet. I feel like the whole idea of a teacher's pet pisses me off because we've been doing like a lot of online learning recently, and I don't know whether I don't know. You guys are in a more creative degree than I am. But one of the things that my teachers constantly complain about at the moment is the fact that no one is answering questions. Even in person, actually, people just weren't answering questions. So, like, oftentimes I'm the only one who's like willing to put my hand up and go, I'll have a shot at it. I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but I'll have a go. And, from time to time, I would just go, I'm going to have a go at it. And obviously, sometimes that comes off as a teacher's pet like action, and to be honest, I was a teacher's pet. But like having a relationship with the people you're teaching, people who are teaching you, I think is sometimes way more important than actually learning the content.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Like there's so many teachers back from my high school that I just loved being able to just talk to about stuff, or even lecturers here at the university that are just great to just talk to.
Yeah,
you know
discuss and argue things. It's really important. It's testing your own ideas as well as testing theirs.
Yeah,
exactly.
That is very true, but also there can be a point where having teachers who are like too candid can be it can be a bit of a problem. I had one teacher in high school. He was like the loveliest dude you would ever meet. He was so chill. He'd let anyone just walk outside if they wanted to. He once walked up behind me when I was like listening to music on Spotify, and he looked over my shoulder and he just walked off. Like he didn't care what we did. I once spent an entire double helping him set up a tripod.
Nice.
So he's a lovely dude, but also you can't really. It's hard to.
Did you learn anything in that class?
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
You know what?
Oh my God.
I had teachers like that as well. So my year 12 English teacher was really awesome. I changed English class because our English class had to be dissolved after year 11. Normally they try to keep the classes the same for the last 2 years of high school at my school. And so I got a new English class with, a teacher that I had known because she took our pastoral care, or we called it home class. Took one of the home classes for all of high school for me. Never had her. And like in passing, she seemed really nice. She was a musician, which was really great because she actually understood where I was coming from when a lot of the time I was like, I'm just overwhelmed. But she and I like had this really great like working relationship. And at the end of the year, I gave her 2 of my most precious books. I still haven't gotten them back. I've got to go and chase and get a child to go get them back from her. But like, that was a really great relationship. But on the other hand, I had a spare twice a fortnight because our schedule was on a fortnightly basis. And it was with this other English Christian studies teacher. And he's really nice, also taken, one of our homeroom classes for a very long time through high school, and was really, really nice, really lovely, but you learnt nothing. Most of the time people would bring their phones were banned at my school and towards the end of high school, and people would just bring their phones, they'd do nothing, and I'm sitting here and it's really hard to do study when everyone else is not. And I'm like, I'm really behind. I don't get a lot of time to do things because I'm usually at school till 5, 6 o'clock at night, and then have to go home, eat dinner, do homework, go to bed. So trying to catch up on things, and everyone else is not doing work. So sometimes when I just needed to mentally tap out, I would do that, and it was really hard to get back into doing work when your teacher doesn't really it's so nice that they don't really care.
Yeah, I was really lucky that we most of my teachers were a nice in between. Of course, most of the teachers that were didn't care were substitutes. Although then again, I have a feeling that most of my classmates probably wouldn't even care anyway. They would just do nothing or do whatever. But I had a different an opposite instance with one of my teachers who that was pretty strict. It was one of the easiest classes to stay focused in, and they were just such an amazing actual teacher. The content that they taught was just really well executed, which I really appreciated because I got a really good mark in that class. But but no, having that balance of a teacher who wants to get the work, it's they take the job seriously but don't take yourself seriously kind of thing.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I had both experiences. I had a teacher that was so strict. It was my year 11 and year 10 and 11 English teacher. And she was so strict that we kind of rebelled and tried our best not to do work. And we were an extension English class. So we all were pretty smart. I never really got good English grades, but we'd all try our best. But she would assume that we weren't trying our best, and so we would just go, well, then we won't try our best then. If you're going to be... And then I had another teacher who was my high school science teacher from about year 9 through to year 11. And he was really he was strict and made sure you got your work done, but so supportive and really made sure that we understood things. Myself and the ducks were quite hard workers. We were quite invested when a lot of the class, may not have been the ducks of the school, sorry. And so he pulled us aside when we started high school physics and said, you are not to work with anyone else in this class. You're only to work with each other. Which it was convenient for me, but at the same, his justification was, I don't want anyone else taking advantage of the hard work you guys put in, day out. So I'll leave you two together to, work on the assessments. And we did all the same classes as well. We were basically in the same classes, all day, every day. So, it was really, and we did basically the same extracurriculars as well. So it was really handy to, have someone who was doing almost the same stuff as you when you were doing experiments and things and needed to schedule stuff.
No, exactly. It's also, that's also what's also interesting. If we get move away a little bit from teachers, but also friendships, it's just talking you talking about how they were the person that you saw in the day in, day out. It's interesting how friendships bloom and then completely disintegrate in that sense. Yeah, there's so many friends that I don't really talk to anymore, or even some that I still do, that were just kind of friends because they were there. And now I have friends that I actually, even though I still obviously am still mostly friends with people that I spend a lot of time with, people from band or people in film degree, there are still people that I barely see ever, but I still have maintained friendships with because we have similar interests or, just like each other, stuff like that.
So that's something I've found really great about uni. It's you're not there because you have to be, I guess. You're there because you really want to learn this one particular thing, and the people around you are all interested in the same thing. So it's easier to build up those friendships. and it's easier to maintain those friendships because you have things to talk about. You don't have this, and it's less strict, less regimented as well. You can study when you want, and you can learn when you
drunk the
want,
rest of the time.
and fit that around your life.
And then it's also nice to be able to like take, like, say you meet someone, like I'll give you an example. I met my boyfriend Patrick, who most of you know, in our jazz band that we're in, and that was kind of our main thing that we bonded over. But since then, I think we never talk about it anymore, and it's really interesting how those friendships can start because of one thing and just way move past that into just so many extra things. You're not just in the same place all of the time like you were with at school and can only talk about the same stuff every day. Because like to me personally, that's what it always felt like in high school. It was just talking about the same stuff every day.
Yeah, and that's like kind of depressing sometimes.
Oh, it is. God.
Like
You got double maths this morning? Yeah. You? Yeah.
Yeah. You stressed? You stressed about this exam? Yeah, kind of.
Oh, it was amazing to watch the way that other people studied though. I was walking in. I did music and science in grade 10, and our last assessment piece was an exam. And the problem was that our music recording day, which was being assessed, was the day of the exam. And it was like a 9 to 3 thing during the day. So we had to turn up at the exam at like 8 o'clock in the morning to do it, and then turn up late to the music thing so that we could do, pass science and also, do the music assessment. And watching, there was like 5 of us who did music and science. Admittedly, there was 9 of us in the class, so in the music class, so it wasn't much. But it was interesting walking in. We had these notes, these flashcards that we'd all made as a class, and one of my friends was just like flipping through them. I'm like, I cannot do that. 20 minutes before an exam, I cannot read any more notes. Other than it's something it's like I've forgotten and I've realized last minute I need to quickly check. But other than that, I cannot like absorb more information in the last 20 minutes before an exam. It's terrible.
No, that's fair. I'm trying to think. I was that kid. I was that kid who was always like so stressed out about exams, even though I would walk out the next day and I would have gotten a really good mark, and then I would just get angry at myself. I'm like, why were you stressed out? You didn't need to be. You're being stupid. You're just making yourself
I was
upset.
never stressed. I feel like I didn't take school seriously at all. I think I was like, this is a massive joke. This is all stupid. I never studied and I got B's. So what you going to do?
Jealous.
Oh, that's probably better than stressing yourself out as much as I did. Like I stressed out so much about school because it was like my main thing. Like I kind of dropped down a little bit in grade 12 because I was focusing on a lot of other stuff, like especially my creative stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, being smart was like the only thing that people knew me for. So I thought, if I'm not that, what am I?
My philosophy in school was always like, I would do it if I saw the use in it, if it made sense to do. Like, I didn't really care about doing maths or English unless, I wanted to learn how to write a short story or whatever. But I mean, if I have to write a 2,000-word essay on, I don't know, the history of lamps or whatever, why would you stress about that? Do the bare minimum to pass and then focus on the things that you want to do and that you think
I'm really
are
interested
actually
in the
important.
history of lamps.
Yeah.
Then go write an amazing essay on that. Share it with the rest of us.
In
And I'd love to hear.
1862
Yeah.
by Sir Edmund Lamp.
I would watch that TED Talk. I would honestly watch that TED Talk.
Yeah, I would too.
Maybe that was a bad example then.
But I find it is this really interesting thing because obviously, the curriculum makes you study subjects that you're not necessarily going to like or enjoy. But like, I was so glad I persisted with English. And yes, I would try to the nth degree and would not get above a B+. Think I was jumping up and down for joy because the oral, which I'm a verbal communicator. I'm very good at verbally communicating things. I got an A- for it. And I was like jumping up and down for joy because I had like gotten an A- for an English assessment. And now I'm a journalist doing a journalism degree, which is terrifying.
Yay.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. No, because we didn't have film and TV because I went to a boarding school up in North Queensland, like in a town called Charters Towers, just outside Townsville. So we didn't have film and TV, but back then I was much more of a science kid. Like in year 12, I got ducks at physics. I loved physics. So like in my year 12, I did English, maths B, physics, biology, drama, and music. So I was like full split down the middle, but I loved physics and I loved biology. Biology was such a fun subject, like learning about I don't even know what it is. It's when like
The
one
mitochondria.
animal no, like when one animal gets moved to another country and then it completely affects like the food chain.
Oh, the
That
cane
stuff,
toad.
I loved that. Shout out to my biology teacher, who was also my physics teacher. He was awesome. He was epic.
Yeah, and like I was chatting to the creator of the Movie Night Crew Network, Christina. Shout out, this is a test, Christina. And she and I were talking a couple episodes ago about how we would have loved to have been in a science degree. Anyway, Izzy, you were going to say something?
I don't know. I always regret choosing law over drama in high school. It was never really the thing I enjoyed. I enjoyed it enough, but I never really clicked with it. And I don't know, it's sort of a testament of this sort of thing is to following what you enjoy, without thinking about what would look good on a resume or a list or things like that, or what will get you the best mark sort of thing. Because that really affects how well you do at what you're doing, your level of interest, sort of like Rachel saying she was ducks of physics. You liked physics, so you were good at it. That's the sort of principle
Definitely.
you can kind of follow.
Yeah, that's very true.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of depressing because like we're in these degrees and we're like, yes, we know what we want to do and what our end goal is. But then you look back on school and you're like, I actually really enjoyed science and I would love to go back and study it someday.
There are some days where I'm kind of thinking, I kind of wish that I'd just done a degree that got me just a simple 9 to 5 where I could save up and go on a holiday and buy cool stuff. But like, I don't know. I'm really excited to at least give this a go. And I'm excited to make use of this degree and go do film stuff because I do love it. It's just, there are those days when you're like, I wonder.
Yeah. It's always nice. Dragging it all the way back to filmmaking again because we somehow went on like 5 tangents. Like if you like had to...
We drifted a little there.
The tree diagram just exploded for a hot second. When you make a film, like what are some of the things that you think that like normal people don't realize that you have to consider when you make a film?
A big one I'd have to say is lighting. Like you see a shot in a film and it looks like, oh, okay, that's just how the room must be. That must be how the light falls on their faces. But there's so much going behind, like setting up the perfect light.
Hours of
for a
work
shot. Like
into setting that light
usually
up.
You have to block out all the natural light coming in and you have to recreate it yourself. You have to make sure everyone is perfectly illuminated and that the light isn't too harsh or too soft. And it just takes hours and hours. And it's a very big part of film.
Mine's going to have to be sound. I have to say it. Sound is one of those things. The first thing that they tell us when we start learning about sound is if you do your job right, no one's going to notice. But if you do your job wrong, absolutely everyone is going to notice. It's one of those things that you don't think about because it has to sound crisp. It can't sound hollow. You have to get rid of all of the background noise. And not only the actual action of recording audio is a really pedantic process. Like the mixer that I use, there's a million buttons and menus that you have to go through to fix one really simple problem. And it's one of those things where you just have to try everything to get it to work. Or even being a boom operator, I have so much respect for boom operators because it's the one, if you see like a movie about a film set, you'll always see a boom op and everyone knows that they record the sound. But God, I remember last semester on a documentary that we were doing, my boom op, he had to like full reach of his arms and full extension of the boom pole, had to hold it up above a group of people for a shot we were doing for 18 straight minutes. And that boom pole is like insane. Like that was the greatest feat of strength I think I'd ever seen. And I think he's on at least one production doing that again this semester, thank God. But and it's like, I don't know, it's something, and people get really like when you're on set and you're doing it, people are always like, oh, it doesn't matter, we can fix it in post. It's like, no, you can't. And because sound is also, I don't know, people seem to be really intimidated by it for some reason. And like they don't seem to understand it. And so when they say, oh, you can do this, I'm just like, no, I can't. That's not how that works. But no, it's one of those things that it takes a lot of work, but it's so important. But it's also it's just a nice job to do. But yeah.
One day I need to pick your brain about sound editing because obviously I do a lot of it. It's unfortunately.
What do you use, just out of curiosity?
I use Audacity only because everyone else in the network does, and it's got some really simple tools that just work. I would love to use like Adobe Audition, but like I don't feel the need to fork out money for it if it's going to. Like then I have to learn a whole new set of skills, and I think it'd be a lot more simple. Like, because it's got very similar tools to Premiere, it'd be a lot more simple. But then at the same time, you know, I think for like a linear recording, like a podcast,
Audacity's underrated. Audacity's
I was
great.
gonna say for something like that.
For a free program, it's awesome. The dude who did the Big Les show did all his recordings through Audacity, and that's what some of the most entertaining media I've ever seen. So
exactly, because like we use like Pro Tools Ultimate, which is like a super high end kind of industry thing, and like it's great. I absolutely love it. But even so, even if you like what you said, if you're just doing something simple, there's nothing wrong with using something like Audacity, something like that.
It gives you all the tools you need.
Exactly.
It definitely does. And like the more I explore it and the more I learn about it, the more versatile it is. I really struggled when I first started using it because I first started using it when I was working radio when we were in lockdown and I had to submit packages. And so submitting a package and just going, fingers crossed, I hope this works. And like I was doing no fixing up of my audio. You know, the first thing I do now when I sit down to edit a podcast is remove all the background, amplify it, make it all continuous, and then remove all the background noise because it is so like, you know, it's so imperative that like we've got crystal clear voices, but I would never do that when I first started.
No, definitely.
So, how do you feel like, you know, if you had to like have one indicator to what like successful adulting is, what would you like compare yourself to? I know comparison is like a terrible thing to do when like self-worth, but like if you're like, I'm a successful adult because X.
Oh.
I'm a successful adult because I can take care of my own needs. And the thing is that those needs can come in a lot of different shapes and forms. Like for me, I don't know, for me, it's making sure that I'm doing my skincare routine every day and that I'm actually going and buying vegetables and making sure that I use them before they go off and stuff like that. And just, even though you might drop the ball sometimes, it's not the end of the world. If you're just doing the things that are making you happy and you feel like you need to do to just make yourself feel okay, then that's good. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think adaptability is also really important. Life is just going to throw everything at you and you're just going to have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and moving forward. Life's just going to throw stuff at you and the way you handle it is the way you are as an adult.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep loving and laughing. As long as I'm loving people and laughing with people, and it's always, and I'm getting love in return, I think that everything will be fine.
Yeah, and being positive and optimistic about the future. You never know what's going to come around the corner. You never know what's heading for you next in life. So just staying positive, being kind to yourself and others around you, and keep going.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's definitely, especially as creative people, we getting that balance of like self-worth and making sure everyone all needs are being met, including like physical health as well, which is often something that we forget about, especially when we're working 14-hour days.
Oh dear.
This is true.
Yeah, it is way too true.
This is true.
I was like, I have to have. Last night I was like, I have to have a shower tonight because I'm not going to be fully conscious enough to have a shower tomorrow morning, even though I'm like super tired. And yeah, it was like planning showers. What
my thing with that is water. Like I have like a big bottle of water next to my bed, and it'll be like 3/4 empty at night, and I'm like, I have to fill it up now. Otherwise, I'm going to drink it in the morning, and then I'm not going to fill it up all day, and then I'm not going to drink water all day, and then I'm just going to skull a heap at the end of the day, and then I'm going to feel sick. That's going to be bad.
Yeah. That's like all the water. Wow. It reminds me of all the things that I've got to sort out today in terms of the new property.
Yay, adulting.
Yay. To wrap up, is there anything you guys would like to plug, whether that's a book, a TV show, a movie, a podcast, or like things that you're doing now that you want to share with people?
Well, of course, we have to plug our True North Instagram. Go to Instagram, go at true.north.film. There you'll find all of our Instagram posts. You'll also find our GoFundMe to donate. Like we said at the start, films are very expensive to make. We're about halfway to our goal, so we're getting there, and we appreciate everyone who has donated and supported us so far. Seriously, it just feels amazing to us that you're helping us make this story happen. Go there. There's also our True North Film Facebook, but it's exactly the same content as on the Instagram, so either way is fine. But yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you so much for having us on, Sam.
No
thank you.
worries. Do you guys want to share your personal?
Yeah, sure. Gone Molly is
social
playing at the
medias?
Brisbane Fest, 19th of September. It's a folk band. We're pretty cool. Come check us out.
Nice.
Lachlan's our shanty man on set. He never without his
Never.
mandolin.
Wow.
If we want to follow some personal pages, you can follow me on Instagram at the.ray.hall. You can also follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch on the Dr. Ray for other random stuff.
I've got a photography Instagram account if anyone's interested. It's Tristan_tries_aesthetic because I'm trying to be aesthetic. Thank you.
Well, for me, I'll just reiterate our True North Instagram. Rachel's been working really hard on it, and we're all posting our bios there. I'm not really much of a social media person, but yeah, follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Cool. That's totally fine. Like, not everyone is on social media, or wants to be found on social media. So I totally understand it. Getting the split between like all my personal profiles and like my public ones, and then obviously the podcast as well, it's just very hard. You can find me at sam.the.journalist on Instagram and TikTok. Fingers crossed, once I get the Wi-Fi back, I will be posting on TikTok a lot more often. And you can find me at SamOBJournalist on Twitter. As well, I am going to plug today Booksmart. It's a great little movie. I watched it for the first time ever. I was like a little worried about it because I was like, I don't know whether this one is like meant for me. But as a kid from the class of 2019 and watching these like two people who'd spent all of their high school career like making sure they were studying and kind of being like the fun police, it was just nice to see that it's okay to have fun, and when you do have fun, like you learn a lot more about people as well. It it was like midnight and I'm sitting here cackling in my bedroom because it was just so funny as well.
Second that recommendation. Booksmart is amazing.
I haven't got a
I've
chance
also
to watch it yet. Oh, I'm really excited.
I've also been listening to Critical Bits. It's a role-playing podcast that doesn't use Dungeons and Dragons. It uses a role-playing system called Masks. It's really, really fun. It's about teen superheroes, and it's a little bit of body horror, so content warning, but it is so funny. I really recommend it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. You all did so awesome, and I can't wait to see your film in a festival sometime.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you for listening to Content and Capable. You can follow the podcast socials at Content, the letter N, Capable on Instagram and Twitter. You can send a super boring email to us through contentandcapablepod@gmail.com. The art was done by Opia. You can follow them on Opia_art on Instagram. Opia is spelled OPIA. Feel free to message them about making art for your project. Our music was written, recorded, and edited by Nora Strauss-Riggs. You can find Nora at Kane_I, that's I as in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast. I am proud to be a part of the Movie Night Crew Network, which features Of the Eldest Gods, a chapter-by-chapter Rick Riordan pod full of myths and legends, My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast that follows the true hero of Avatar The Last Airbender, the Cabbage Cart Guy, Fandom's Gone Wrong, a show that discusses all things fandoms, the Movie Night Crew, join some friends as they react to some terrible, some meh, and some really great movies, and the Restricted section, a chapter-by-chapter Harry Potter pod with lots of spoilers all the time.
What's up, potheads? It's me, your host, Christina. Welcome to the Restricted section. No, we're not in Hogwarts. It's like a metaphor. Do you get it? Like, we're raunchy, and we get drunk, and we make sex jokes, and we have an all spoilers all the time policy. So, you know, it's like the Restricted section. I've been told that explaining jokes makes them funnier. If you've ever wondered how the Marauders map actually works, if you've ever thought that maybe Snape sometimes wears jeans, if you've ever thought that Draco and Harry are for sure in love, I mean, they're for sure in love. If you've ever had a hard time deciding who you'd rather bang, Bill or Charlie, obviously Charlie, then this podcast is for you. You don't even have to do the reading, we'll do it for you. Catch the Restricted section every Wednesday wherever you get your podcasts, and find us online at Restricted Section Pod.
Content and Capable is a podcast all about answering the question, how do you adult? Don't forget to rate and review it on your favourite podcatcher, and I will see you next Monday for another episode.
That movie sucked. I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.